Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Super 7 Ultimates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Bulk and Skull. Hold on. Bulk and Skull figures from the Wave 5 of the Power Rangers Ultimates figures by Super 7. These are in stock right now at Big Bad Toy Store. Shout out to them for getting these out to me so I could take a look for you guys. And I am very excited because it's a crime that nobody else has given us Bulk and Skull action figures. Hasbro didn't do it. Bandai didn't do it. Super 7 here has now done it. The only thing is if you had the Bandai figures, if you had the Hasbro Lightning Collection figures, these guys do not scale to Hasbro figures. But if you have the Super 7 Power Rangers figures, obviously they're in scale with each other, so it's going to work out. And if you are in need of some of those Power Rangers figures, some of the earlier waves of the Ultimates figures are included in Big Bad Toy Store's end of the year Super 7 sale. So you can get some complete waves for 50% off. So it's crazy. So link in the video description below to Bulk and Skull, as well as the other figures from Wave 5, and directly to their sale page for the Super 7 stuff. So a lot of great deals on Super 7 figures. But here we have Bulk and Skull. Again, first time we're getting Bulk and Skull. Crazy that that's happening. But I am super excited because, again, Bulk and Skull, like, they're just the wacky characters that were just pure comedic relief for the show. It's crazy that Bulk and Skull were also in, like, every season up to Lost Galaxy, although Skull wasn't quite in the whole season of Lost Galaxy. I think he was only in, like, the first episode and maybe the last episode. Or something. He, like, overslept and didn't, you know, get on the shuttle or whatever. But anyway, looking at the package, we got Farkas Bulkmeyer and Eugene Skolovich. And then we get the juice bar, you know, aesthetic going to the package. So that is actually really cool there. Bulk and Skull have bios. So Farkas Bulkmeyer. It says, Bulk and his longtime friend Skull were the bullies at Angel Grove High. They would often hang out at the youth center and juice bar, scheming, performing pranks, and antagonizing their peers. Bulk was the dominant member of the duo, and Skull would follow his inept lead. All the while, Bulk and Skull would try to discover the secret identities of the Power Rangers and always fail. It's actually funny because their bios are actually the same, but it says, for Skull, it says Skull and his longtime friend Bulk were the bullies at Angel Grove High. They would often hang out, blah, blah, blah. But Skull had a signature whiny laugh and often copied Bulk's behavior. And then all the while, Bulk and Skull would try. So there we go. Bulk and Skull. Let's get them out of the package and let's take a look. It's Morphin time. Burgersaurus. Dogosaurus. That's the funny thing that they say. But hey, while you guys are here, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm well on my way to 50,000 subscribers. It's the goal I set for the end of the year. If you haven't already and you're a fan of the channel, fan of my action figure reviews, or this is your first time, hopefully I've earned your subscription. But do me a favor, hit that subscribe button now. Alright, so the Bulk and Skull. I'm actually really happy with these figures. I know Super 7 figures could kind of go either way, but these, like, Bulk and Skull, like, finally a Bulk and Skull figure. And I almost want to go as far as to say that these figures are going to be kind of some of Super 7's best in the Power Rangers line for humans. The Zord figures are amazing. In their own class. Can't compare it to others. The monsters are crazy. They're awesome. But when it comes to the human stuff, like the Rangers, I think aren't as good as their monsters. Aren't as good as the Zords and that sort of thing. Not that the Rangers figures are bad, but for humans, like they're not as good. They're really smooth. There's no texture detail in terms of like the sculpt or anything like that, which kind of takes away from some of the coolness of some of the action figures. Like the monsters are like very detailed, and there's curves and texture and everything to them. Same with the Zords. The Rangers are all just kind of smooth. They're good, but there's just not a lot of stuff going on to it. They're fairly plain, if that makes sense. And then their suits are plain, so, you know, that's how they are. So Bulk and Skull, it kind of changes some things up. So having some additional human figures in the line, these are really good. And I think better from a playability standpoint than like the Rangers. Not that Super 7 figures are necessarily made for play. Like they're more so like for collecting and display. and not for play. But for these ones, maybe you can get a little bit of play out of them. There's a lot of fun to be had here. The big downfall, though, is when you kind of get them into the morph mode like we have here. They can't quite get their hands together. Skull a little bit more, but Bulk definitely cannot. But there's some fun. That's just the fun little accessories that they threw in, those morphers and things like that to kind of go along with it. But a lot of fun with these figures. So stick with me as we check them out. We're going to take a look at Bulk first, since it's Bulk and Skull. So we'll take a look at Bulk's first. We'll look at his accessories. We'll look at Skull, his accessories, and then we'll do the articulation of them together. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Bulk, and I already swapped out the head so you can see this one. I'm not sure what kind of... This is like an old-school football helmet, I think it is. Type of deal, right? It kind of has this nice actual leather texture look in the paint, which is actually pretty cool. You can see his ponytail kind of sticking out the back there. So this looks pretty good. One thing about the Super 7 figures is I feel like the human faces, head sculpts, have been fairly cartoony. And I don't really see that here with these figures. I think these are probably the best that they've done. And yes, there's a little bit of a shine to them that I wish they didn't have. But these likenesses are spot on, if you ask me. Like, spot on to the actors. And forgive me, I don't know the actor's name. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but Bulk, I think his name's Paul, he actually works for Gentle Giant Studios, who sculpts, which is a company that does a lot of sculpt work for action figures, statues, movie prop things, and stuff like that. He actually works for Gentle Giant Studios, so he's in the toy industry. So, fun fact, if you guys did not know that, I've actually got a chance to meet him at San Diego Comic-Con, too. So that was really cool. But there we go. So I think the head sculpts look good. Definitely better than the Ranger figure head sculpts that we had gotten. Not that they were all bad, but again, they looked a little cartoony or a little comic booky. But these guys, I think they look really good. I actually prefer this face. This head sculpt, and yes, that's a particular image. You could look it up and you would see Bulk of this. I think I prefer this one over the helmet look, because this one just doesn't scream like, when I think of Bulk, I don't picture, him wearing this helmet type of thing. So I'm going to swap it out. It's very easy to swap out. You got the binoculars, which could go around his neck there, and he can hold them with like the grip hand. I took a picture and I'll be posting to like toynewseye.com and Instagram and stuff. You can grip onto those binoculars, which is actually really cool. So there we go on that head sculpt. Looking at the accessories, the additional accessories that it comes with, he has these gold sunglasses there. So you can put that on, and that fits on there pretty good. It's too bad we don't actually have some translucent plastic to be able to see his eyes, because with the glasses that Skull comes with, you can actually see through them. So there's translucent plastic in there, so you can actually look like real lenses. But for Bulk, he does not get that treatment, and I don't know if it's a colored thing or what the issue was, but that would have been really cool if we could have. The accessories, we already kind of saw the Burger Morpher, but here's an up-close look at it there. Painted nicely. Just black for the handle there, but nice touch that we got that. Again, we had seen the binoculars there, got the sunglasses, and then hands. He comes with fists out of the package. Then he also has a pair of grip hands there, and then we get these kind of wide open hands like so as I drop the figure. And the hands there's a lot of nice detail in the folds of the hands and everything. So these hands are done nicely. So that is pretty cool. So those are the accessories for Bulk. Looking at the figure looks really good. I feel like the quality of these guys are a little bit better than some of the Ranger figures also. And I think it just comes naturally when it comes, you go deeper and deeper into an action figure line. They can do some things. And then it also helps with the civilian clothing in that regard there. But looks really good. You got the leather jacket with the denim kind of look over it. Some nice paint details in those shoulders. The frayed look of the shoulders, so a little bit of white in there, so that makes it a nice touch. We get some silver for some buckles and things like that in the leather jacket. The leather jacket has this nice painted texture to it. It's very subtle and it's hard to see, but it's like a brown base, and then there's like this really, really dark brown paintwork in there to bring out some of the textury look to the leather, which is really cool. He wears this pink shirt. I'm not sure why. Like, if you look up a lot of images of Bulk and Skull, like, him wearing this outfit is one of the key things that you'll see. I don't know how often he actually wore it, or if he, wore things over and over again, but it's cool that they did that. You got that belt in there. He's just got black pants, and then he's got these brown boots in there. The boots are painted really nicely. You actually get some silver in there, and then the shoelaces are this tan color. So those are really good. again, the figure came out really nice. I'm actually really happy with it and really loving what they did here. Looking and jumping over into Skull. Skull's a little bit shorter, so let's adjust that camera down. So here we have Skull. And then the likeness to the actor is really good here as well. But we got those sunglasses on there. Again, you can actually see through the lenses, so that was definitely a nice touch that time. There's a little bit of shine to it that I wish it didn't have. But other than that, I think the likeness is actually pretty good on this one. We also get a second head sculpt. So we have this one here. Let's go ahead and pop this head off. You got that bandana there. Let's leave that down there. Whoops. We got the head here, and he has the hat. And I don't know what type of what these hats are called, but again, I think the likeness to the actors are really good on these figures, better than the Rangers that we had gotten. Really nice, really good there. He's just got this jacket on there. There's a little bit of shading in some of the areas to kind of bring out the texture of it. Like if you look throughout the arm, you can see some paintwork in the shading. Same over here. The little ties on the jacket, those are painted in. He's got his the chains that he has on his pants and stuff like that, probably for his wallet. He's got the camo cargo pants there, and then he's got these yellow boots there, some nice paintwork on the boots. Again, solid. These figures came out really solid. I'm so happy with them. And then the morpher, he's got the hot dog morpher, and he says like Dogosaurus when he does the morphing thing. Those are like in a dream sequence. So we have that there. He comes with the same hand, so he actually has fists out of the package. I already swapped one out, but he also has 2 grip hands. These are just kind of the standard C grip hands, and then he's got these 2 wide open hands. Now, the reason why I left one on there is so I could show you guys the camcorder accessory, the video camera accessory that he comes with. You can actually slip his hand right on that strap there, and that's how he would hold it. So that is a nice touch there. One thing though that can be frustrating when it comes to Super 7 stuff is the single jointed elbow. So he is not going to be able to get to look through that video camera. So that is not going to work out, unfortunately. So that's, a little tough. I wish we could have made that work. But with the single jointed elbows, that is something that unfortunately we cannot get to work. But it is what it is in that standpoint. I know Brian Flynn has done interviews talking about the reason for the single jointed elbows. He prefers the aesthetic. And then when you think of retro toys, back in the 90s, they didn't have double jointed elbows. They had single jointed elbows. And Super 7's really a nostalgia company that makes action figures. So the action figures kind of are supposed to resemble, look like, feel like toys from the era. So the early 90s in the toys, you would have had single jointed elbows. Whether you agree with that or prefer that, Brian Flynn, the Super 7's his company. That's the decision that he made on those action figures. I don't hate it, but I also, at the same time, don't love it. Double joints would, of course, be better, but I get what they were kind of going for, and so it kind of is what it is on those figures. But even with that, Bulk and Skull, I'm very pleased with how these 2 figures came out. So now let's go ahead and check out the articulation. All right, so let's get to the articulation. Let's start with Bulk. So Bulk, his head is on a dumbbell joint, ball joint, so you can move the head in circular motions. You can get some good head pivot and whatnot. Looking down, he can go that much. It's just not a whole lot. Looking up, he can't really do that. And you get the side-to-side movement motion there. The arm, you can get to go straight on out like so. You can do a full rotation. Full rotation in that arm. Single jointed elbow, and you get a swivel at that elbow as well. So you get 90-degree bend at the elbow. Wrists swivel in the hinge. You got the standard horizontal hinge on every single one of the hands, so no vertical hinge. Typically with the Super 7 Ultimates figures, we had gotten 2 sets of hands with the horizontal hinge and vertical hinge. We just have the horizontal hinge on these guys now. So we get the upper diaphragm cut on there, so it allows us to tilt Bulk to the left that much. We can tilt Bulk to the right that much. I feel like the jacket kind of gets in the way, otherwise you'd be able to kind of work him a little bit more. You get a swivel at that diaphragm as well. Going back, the jacket's going to really get in the way, and then coming forward isn't a whole lot, as you can see there. The legs go out, let me see, that far apart, doing the split, so that is pretty good. He can kick forward. Only that far, though, so not a whole lot forward. The leg goes back slightly. You get a little bit of swivel in that thigh, so that is pretty good. You get a single jointed knee, and you actually get a swivel at that knee, but the knee, you can get only that much bend there, so that is not a whole lot of bend, but it's also Bulk, so I feel like he doesn't need to be able to move around an insane amount. More articulation and range is obviously better. I don't know that bulk needs it. You get an ankle swivel in there. Foot hinges down a little bit, but the foot does hit the pants, so that is a little bit tough. A little bit of hinge up, but again, boot is going to hit the pants. You get ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So that is bulk's articulation. And I think he moves enough for what you need bulk to do, other than being able to get his arms together to use that hamburger morpher. So that was bulk. Let's take a look at skull. Skull, his head is on a dumbbell joint as well. The head with the hat doesn't seem to get a whole lot of motion. You can do some good pivot in that neck, which is good. He can't really look down. He can't really look up. Let's swap out that head and put the regular head on there. I feel like the bandana also kind of gets in the way, and it looks like it rubbed a little bit of paint on his neck on mine. But yeah, he can't really look up much. He can't really look down much. Full rotation, and then you get some good pivot going on in there. The shoulder, you can get the arms to go straight on out like so. Full rotation in there. Single jointed elbow gives you a little bit less than 90 degrees, unfortunately, and then you have a swivel at that elbow as well. The wrist swivel and the hinge, standard horizontal hinge on all the hands for him as well. He gets the ab crunch treatment and the ball joint waist, so coming forward on the ball joint waist and the ab, skull can crunch forward that much there. He can go back that much there, which is actually really good. Swivel at that ball jointed waist, and then tilt on that ball joint waist to the left that much, tilt to the right that much. Again, we did the swivel, which I think I discussed already. You can basically do full splits with skull, so that is pretty crazy there. He can kick forward a lot farther up as he doesn't have the larger body. It's kind of hinder and restrict. The leg goes back slightly. You get a little bit of swivel in that thigh, not nearly as much as bulk had there, but you can swivel it around. We get a single jointed knee, so you get much more range of motion in the knee here with skull, just under 90 degrees, I would say. You do also get a little bit of swivel at that knee. You get a swivel at the boot, which is good. Foot hinges down a little bit. You kind of have to work the back of the foot over the back of the boot, but you can hinge the foot down quite a bit. You get a little bit of hinge up, which is great. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So skull definitely has a lot more articulation compared to bulk. But these guys, you know, they're the comedic relief. I don't know how much crazy movements they need to do, but I think what we've got works out really good for them. Okay, and then in terms of size comparison with the Power Rangers, here we have the Red Ranger Ultimates figure, and you can see the Power Rangers and Bulk and Skull, they're all about the same height. I think, just about the same height there. So that works out really well. And if we want to get the team together, let me see, how can I fit them all into frame? Let me see, we'll put pink there. Let's line up blue. It's the first time I've taken him out of his package. Then we got yellow. Let's move red back a little bit. Let's get yellow there. Then let's get black there. We'll move skull out a little bit. Maybe move blue out a little bit. Skull out a little bit, bulk out a little bit, and then boom, we have our Power Rangers along with Bulk and Skull. Okay, I just kind of rearranged it a little bit to kind of make it look a little bit better, but just absolutely awesome. Think about my childhood when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on TV. You know, I had a lot of the Power Rangers toys, but there was never any Bulk and Skull. And now, you know, I'm close to 40, and now I could get a Bulk and Skull. So it's kind of bittersweet. So Super 7 to the rescue to finally give us Bulk and Skull action figures. And I think they did a really good job. And I think in a lot of ways, better than the Rangers themselves. Not better than the Zords, not better than the Monsters, because those are absolutely amazing. But in some ways, they're better than the Power Rangers. So kind of crazy because, again, the Power Rangers are all smooth, no texture detail to the suits or anything like that. But when you have these jackets with pockets, and then you got the wrinkles in the suits and the pants and things like that, just really came out good. And I just think, you know, my want and need for a Bulk and Skull action figure are playing heavily into that. but I do think Super 7 did a really good job with these two figures. So if they're something that you're interested in, Big Bad Toy Store has you covered. Link in the video description below for them. And then again, a lot of Super 7 figures are on sale right now. It is the end of the year Super 7 sale with Big Bad Toy Store. So take a look at all the deals and details and everything. Link in the video description below. You guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below on these Super 7 Ultimates Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Wave 5 Bulk and Skull. Is it everything that you have been wanting? Are you looking to pick them up? Did you get your pre-order in? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. We're on our way to 50K. And as always, thank you for watching.